Hi, I'm Cameron Mitchell, and thanks to Oz Arts and Metro Nashville Public Schools, I'm here to bring you a STEAM exercise. Now, some of you may know what STEAM means, some of you may not. STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and math. All you need is something to write with and something to write on. Grab those and meet me back here. All right, so today we're going to take two areas that have nothing to do with each other, and we're going to meld them into one, making something majestic, something great. Career exploration and poetry. Now you may be thinking, but what if I want to be a neurologist? How does that relate to poetry? Well, I'm here to tell you that it can relate. All I need you to do is follow me through today's activities, and I'll show you how. So, fun fact about me. I am a writer, actor, producer, and a teaching artist. But there is one thing not a lot of people know about me. I have a degree in aerospace, and I can fly planes. So I'm a pilot. Yeah, it's crazy, right? But yes, I really am. I have the ability to go up and fly planes because I have a license to fly. And it's so fun, and there are so many different aspects and things about the world of aerospace, flying planes, and all of that. And every career has its own unique vocabulary and language that it uses. So for instance, let's take a look into the world of aerospace and flying planes when it comes to that language. A plane consists of a few parts that it needs in order to fly in its body. You need wings, a fuselage, which is the body of the plane where the people go, a propeller or sometimes an engine on the bigger planes, or horizontal and vertical stabilizers. Those are kind of like the little fins on a fish that you see moving in the back. Those really help when it comes to flying up and down too. Those are the pieces that we need for the plane. But the four elements we need for flight are lift, weight, thrust, and drag. We can have the plane all day, but without these four elements, we can't get off the ground. So thrust is where the propeller and the engines come in. They have to thrust us forward, but the thrust has to exceed the drag. So the force that may be pushing against it or pulling back on the plane cannot be more than the thrust. Lift has to exceed the weight in order to get off the ground. But this also works in reverse when we're trying to come back to the ground. The drag needs to exceed the thrust, and the weight needs to exceed the lift. So all these things worked in tandem and are so significant to this world of aviation and aerospace. Now, when you also think about when you're in the air, you got to think about, what are you flying in? It may be a pretty day outside. It may not always work in your favor. Decision making. Decision making is a huge part of the aerospace world. And honestly, it's a huge part of any career that you choose, because you have to make decisions all the time. And these are things that make good leaders. So when you're thinking about this, you want to think, is it okay to fly on a good day? Yes. But is it okay to fly in a thunderstorm? Well, that's probably not good weather to fly in. Or even freezing rain. Rain freezes on impact and makes the weight too heavy so that there isn't enough lift to keep the plane in the sky. These things you have to really factor in, and you have to make those proper decisions. And sometimes these decisions can be difficult, but whether you have to always factor in people, even your own health. Am I in a good place to come to work today because maybe I'm sick, maybe I'm dealing with internal things, and I have to make the right decision that works best for everybody, especially when lives are on the line. Pilots have to fly anywhere from 200 to 400 people on one plane. So you got to make those proper decisions. So, did you know we have to rely on the right sources? Specifically, our instruments and our team. I mean, I have to feel the controls from the plane and whether they're acting properly with me or not. I have to see the instruments that I'm looking at to make sure everything is fine. Because sometimes I could feel like everything is okay, but if I'm in a cloud, everything could seem fine, but I could be falling, spiraling out of the sky. So I have to pay attention to my instruments. And even just 1 degree off, if I'm trying to head to California, Los Angeles, I can end up in Seattle flying from New York. So I have to see the instruments and know where I'm going. Make sure I'm on the right track. And other things I have to think about. I have to smell the rain, and I have to hear if there's thunder, which lets me know there's a storm coming. Sometimes I can even taste the cool air starting to settle in. So it lets me know if it's okay to fly right now or not. So all these decisions make a big difference. But then on top of my own, it helps when I have a team. Air traffic controllers, the guys you see in the towers that are watching for me, lets me know if there are things that I can't see outside the plane. Mechanics who fix the plane, I'm just a pilot. I only fly the plane, I can't fix it. So it's great to have someone who can fix things that may be wrong with it, who can check it out and make sure everything's okay. You have a dispatcher who checks in with me, make sure everything works fine and make sure I'm okay to go to the destination that I'm trying to reach. And so everybody works together, and it's really great that I have a team that I can work with anytime I fly. So I know there are other people that are watching out for me, and I don't have to watch my own back. It works out really well. So I know there are so many different phrases, so many different words and things to think about when it comes to being a pilot. We haven't even gotten into the amount of licenses you have to have, the hours it takes to get into this stuff, the books you have to read, and just there's so many things that go on with this, right? Such is life. But we have a phrase we like to use called shape up and fly right. And we use this as pilots, but we also use this with life. You know, there are so many things that try to steer us and make us move different and, you know, often cause us to fall off the path sometimes, to veer in the wrong direction. We may go left or right, but we always have to shape up and fly right to come back to where you're supposed to be and find the direction that you're supposed to be going. That's so key and so relevant, even now. And so I'm going to use all of these words and terms and phrases and things, and I'm going to funnel them into a poem. A very particular poem that we like to call an ode. Maybe you've heard of this type of poetry, maybe you haven't. An ode is a way to celebrate, a toast, a way to praise something or someone. So I'm going to do an ode to my future self. What better person to do that to? And so I'm going to do an ode to my future self using the words and terms that we have done with being a pilot. All right? So I'm going to share an example with you guys what I have using everything we've learned today. All right? So this goes like this. Ode to future self. Shape up. Your heart is your propeller. Thrust forward into the heavens. Don't drag your feet. Fly right. Your dreams are soaring on the wings of freedom, so your path can open wide as the sunset sky. Shape up. Stormy days will come, but I know you will make the right decisions to get through it because you are a leader. Fly right. Don't forget, you are never alone. You have a team to be there for you. Even when the path goes away, don't fear. That gut feeling is your compass. So shape up and fly right. All right, so now that we've had a chance to see what I can do, we're gonna take the chance to build yours. So you're gonna get a chance to build your own ode to your future self. And I'm gonna help you. The way this goes, we're gonna think about careers. Now there are so many different ones when it comes to police officers, doctors, lawyers, firefighters. We've thought about these things and we've heard them, right? There's so many careers that we haven't heard of or haven't really much thought about, like software engineers. They're the ones who create some of the apps that we use on our phones and laptops. Or what about a zoologist? They help take care of animals and know so much when it comes to that area of just the animal kingdom. How about a neurologist? Those are pretty cool. They study the brain and they know so much about everything when it comes to the nerves and muscles. You could be a pasta chef, an astronaut, an audio engineer. They help to bring music, mix and master it, and make sure it's at the most beautiful place, magnifique. You can be a stunt person, like Marvel movies and things like that. But wait, you could even be, wait for it, a Lego builder. Yes, there are professional Lego builders going from building cities to statues. And they get paid to do this. This is pretty cool. So there's so many cool careers out here, cool opportunities. You gotta find them. Maybe if you don't find them, it's because it hasn't been created yet. And maybe it's waiting on you to do that. That's called being an entrepreneur. So we're gonna take these, choose one, and create an ode. I'm gonna give an example. For instance, I will say a zoologist, they tend to use phrases like ecosystems and species, knowing different types of species. So I'm going to take this and turn it into a metaphor. I may say, your blank, and in this blank, let's say we can put something like ambitions, hopes, etc. So your ambitions create their own ecosystem that is healthier for the environment. I could even say your dreams are a different species because they can't be compared to anyone else's. All right? A neurologist uses words like nerves, brain, and muscles. So we can do the same thing. Make it into a metaphor. Use the blank dreams, strength, abilities, and compare it with the brain's muscles. So I may say my strength or my abilities are the brain muscles that can think through any situation. That's pretty cool. So now that you have a few examples, you're gonna go through and pick a career of your own. Maybe you can choose one that I named in my list, or you can research one that you might be interested in. Discover something new. What can you find? Now that you're researching and going through, what details, what sensory details can you find? What things can you feel? Can you touch? Can you hear? Can you smell? What type of details can you uncover from that career? All right? Now, using those, you're gonna create an ode poem, an ode to yourself, your future self. And we're gonna make sure it's around 8 to 10 lines. Can you do that? I believe you can, because I know you're capable. All right, so go ahead and try that. Well, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about your futures. Thank you guys so much for inviting me into your space and allowing me to share what I have with our STEAM exercise. I hope you guys have a great day. And remember, shape up and fly right.